Do you want to become more successful in business and your career? Then don't miss out on this exclusive interview with Bill Heinrich. On this episode, we'll be discussing the 92% success formula. Bill shares his best advice on building your business and career and reveals the key strategies he's used to become a successful entrepreneur and industry leader. Discover his proven formula for success that can help you reach your full potential and learn how to develop the skills and mindset needed to succeed. For Bill, personal transformation is at the core of his essence. He has walked in your shoes and understands the frustration, the confusion, and stress that you may be experiencing. Before starting his spiritual transformation, Bill's life was out of control and he made decisions based on who he wasn't. But after nearly 30 years of research and investigation and experimentation, he's cracked the code to living a life of passion, purpose, and prosperity. Bill, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Can you tell us your story?
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here. My story, yeah. Well, I've been in business over 50 years, but I guess when I was young, life never made sense to me, and I ended up rebelling just because of all the elements of life. And then got out of school and was still rebelling, but became, successful in business, but was never happy. And there was always chaos. It was always just kind of crazy. Made a lot of money, lost a lot of money. And it just got to a point about 30 years ago where I walked away from my life. I just to find out what the cause of why I was so miserable, what the cause of it was. Life still didn't make sense to me at that point. Today, I understand life completely. I understand why we're here. I understand how to interact with life, what's going on, where all of our upsets come from, where our stress and overwhelm gets created. And I've spent 30 years researching it. So it's been a pretty fascinating journey, Samantha.
Well, what happened in life that gave you the insight to start introspection?
That caused me to walk away from my life?
Yeah, what caused you to reflect and say, hey, I'm not happy. How do I become happy?
I was so far past unhappy. I was in just misery and chaos. So it was really pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. And just didn't know any better. I was in survival, very stark survival in life. And it's interesting because you talked about the 92% factor at the beginning. And this is all about potential. What percentage, how much of our potential do we access? Here's a great question. I'm going to ask you this question. What is potential?
I would say untapped energy.
Well, that's exactly it. Damn, you hit the nail right on the head. It is. That's exactly what it is. You see, they say that everyone you speak to say we use less than 10% of our potential, which in fact, after what I've learned, I would put it more in the realm of maybe 2%. We use 2% or 3% of our potential because we are that powerful. So the question is, when I started looking at why I was so miserable, the question I was looking for is, how does one live a happy life? How does one live a life of peacefulness, calm, so on? And so as I looked at the cause of the misery, what I saw is or what I've come to the conclusion with that beyond a shadow of a doubt is it's only about energy. Period. Our entire life is only about energy. And there's so many reasons why. But when we look at potential, potential is untapped energy. And the path to that energy is through the inner game. The answer is not outside of you. The answer is always inside you. You can only control from the skin in. And that's where you need to look. That's where all your potential and all of your power sits. And it's fascinating because it isn't like you go, well, I can't say that's not really true. I was going to say you can't go tap into your potential, but I can. You can do it pretty easily when you understand how. But the fact of the matter is somebody who doesn't know how can't. And you don't want to look at tapping into your potential. All you want to look at is removing something that blocks you from it. Any thought, word, or action that blocks you from having your potential in front of you. Now, that sounds like a kind of simple statement, but it's very complex.
Oh, absolutely. I could fathom well, the first thing that popped into my mind as when you were describing things blocking our potential was like in CBT, like some limiting beliefs, like narratives that we tell ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't do this.
Well, we all have them. In fact, our life is full of them. We have so many stories and things that we've been taught that don't serve us anymore, that this is the importance of focusing on staying in the present moment. When you're in the present moment, connected energetically with who you're with, not in your mind, because when you go into your mind, you go back to those stories. You've got to be very present. Here I am sitting with Samantha, right? I can see her. We can feel each other's energy. I'm here. I'm present. I'm not thinking about anything else, not into anything else. As you can learn to do that, you can then start to escape from the stories. The story won't have control over you. It gives you an opportunity to make a conscious choice then because you're in the present moment. So that's one way out of it. But the potential, what you see in front of you in the physical is a manifestation of the amount of potential and power that you've tapped into inside you. And the answers are all in the non-physical, not in the physical world around you. Samantha's head is bobbing up and down. Yes.
I love this because we think about like who are the geniuses of our time, and we see Bill Gates, we see Steve Jobs, we see Elon Musk, and the reason why they're so great is because they had an idea. It started off from a thought. They tapped into potential. What can it be? They planned it. They built a demo. They won hearts of many, and their success began from an idea, from a potential energy, something they could have acted on, but they decided to do it, and it changes our world. I love what you're saying about how all the answers are within. I completely agree.
Yeah. That is one of our foundational birthrights. One of the gifts that we have available to us is that everything comes from nothing, that we can create from thought. This is a fact, right? So it's all about how do you manifest, how do you create more potential around it, create more awareness so that a catalyst ignites it somehow and it starts showing up in the physical. But one must do that without boundaries. So here's what's important. In order to access potential, you really need to access your heart because it's about how you feel. It's all about how you feel. Your life purpose isn't what you do. Your life purpose is the energy you do it with. It's just the energy you do it with. Every thought, word, and action in service for the benefit of all involved. That's our life purpose, whatever we're doing. So as you access potential and create more awareness, you create more energy and things start to ignite. And in the non-physical, in the inner game, as you're working with the inner game and you're working with the universe, everything is infinite. So there's no limitation whatsoever when it comes to creation in the non-physical. And this isn't just from thought. The most powerful creation you can have involves feelings, because as you embody the energy of that you're creating, the faster it will be created. So in the non-physical, it's just all about expansion and poof, yes, you can energize it, you can see it, you can really. When you come to the physical, though, it's all about limitation. Everybody asks that 3-letter word that kills every idea in the world. And Samantha, that word is how. How are you going to do that? I don't know. They just everybody helps put the brakes on. But that's not the way it is. So you're right. Bill Gates and these people follow the energy that create. Look at Elon Musk, who wants to populate Mars. Now, the fact of the matter is, it's doable because of his energy behind his commitment to it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Because if a random person came up to me on the street and told me they were going to do that, I'd probably laugh.
Mm-hmm. But it's all about the energy. So this is how you tap into your potential. And imagine, like, I don't even know. Well, I have some idea, because I've been working with this for so long, and I'm an energetic empath, and which means I have a very intimate relationship with energy. I really understand it. And I'm able to amp my energy and do things with it. And this is what creates miracles. It's like attracts like. People will never remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. How you made them feel. Be with that. You'll always remember how you made them feel. That's the authentic piece of life, is energy and emotions.
So I have a question with energy and emotion.
Okay.
So I'm sure you heard this before, but I think the saying goes that our feelings are great companions, but make bad leaders, or our hearts rather. How can we guide our emotions and use them to manifest if we're coming from a place where we didn't have much self-regulation? So in the past, for me at least, I found that I would use my emotions or feelings as an excuse for an action or inaction.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I started awakening, I realized that sometimes discipline doesn't involve our emotions per se, we have to get it going. So how can we start taking control over that aspect of this development?
This is, I've done so many interviews, and this is the first time anyone's ever posed this question to me in this manner. And I love the way you've asked it, because you're asking it from the side of experience of being bounced around by those emotions. So the answer to your question is very simple and very complicated. Let me give you the simple part, okay? The simple part is this, is if one chooses to live with more happiness and peacefulness in their life, it is mandatory that you understand emotions, because these are the things that control how you feel. So if you want to feel happy, I don't even like happiness now. For me, it's contentment. I live in this state of contentment. It's so much different. If you have happiness, then you've got to go to sadness, because there's duality and polarity in the universe. But anyway, it all depends what type of life you want to live, and you have to understand that you have complete control. So earlier, we talked about accessing potential with the inner game, okay? So remember, anything inside of you gives you power. Anything that's outside of you makes you a victim. When you go outside of yourself to recognize your struggles and problems, you're making yourself a victim. You're giving your power to that situation. Consequently, when you have these emotions, you're doing the same thing. The reason you are is you can't have an emotion, Samantha, without a story. Let me repeat that. You can't have an emotion without a story. Now, these emotions that are opposite of being happy, okay, are actually gold mines. They're veins of gold, because you see somebody and you...
Hey there, coffee lovers. Did you know that your daily cup of joe might be tainted with oils and chemicals? If you follow me on social media, you are well aware that I'm all about checking labels, and it's time we say goodbye to these harmful additives in 2023. Shockingly, many of Americans' beloved coffee creamers contain ingredients that you'll never knowingly mix into your coffee, such as canola oil, this potassium phosphate, and artificial flavors. But don't worry, we've got your back with Liard Superfood Creamers. These creamers are made from top-notch, all-natural, real food ingredients, giving you nothing but the best in every sip. Here's an inspiring tale. Liard began tinkering with his morning coffee routine almost 20 years ago. He discovered that adding healthy fats like coconut oil to his coffee not only enhanced the taste, but also provided him with incredible energy that lasted throughout the day. Eventually, he crafted the ultimate fuel-packed coffee and started sharing his secrets with his surf buddies. So why not make the switch to Liard Superfood Creamers today? Elevate your morning ritual, fuel your day with clean energy, and never worry about hidden and harmful ingredients again. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to liardsuperfoods.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code Organic Matrix at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today. I love that.
There's only two emotions. What do you think they are?
Is it love and hatred?
Close, love and fear. Hatred would be an excessive expression of fear.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, fear.
So you have love and fear. Now, so we have love and fear. Everybody understands love and fear. I love you, you scare me. Love and fear. Let's follow the path. In order to access love, where do you have to go?
You have to step out of fear.
Where do you have to go, though? You have to go to your heart. This is where you create love, is from your heart. Fear, where do you go? Where does fear get created?
In our minds.
In your minds. And what does that mean? That means that fear can only happen in your physical life. Fear cannot happen in your non-physical life. You cannot create fear in the if you meditate, you can't go create fear. In order to create fear, you have to be in the physical and you have to be in the past. You're bringing some aspect of the past forward. So the moment you're fearful, it's like, whoa, okay, well, first thing I know is I'm not coming from a place of love. And when I'm coming from a place of love, this is where I know I can always find happiness. So look at what's happening. But it can't happen in the non-physical. Mm-hmm. Love is all about giving. Fear is all about protection. They're the opposites. And they can't coexist. Love and fear cannot coexist. There's a saying, fear knocked on the door and love answered, but no one was there. Because they just can't coexist. Be with that, because that's a tremendous guidepost. Because when you start choosing love in your life, you start detaching, and you're living more in a state of detachment from the physical world, knowing that I can influence everything around me in the physical just with my energy. I'm going to participate. I'm going to speak. Here I'm doing an interview. I'm going to share. I'm going to give. But I'm not going to control the outcomes. I'm going to let the energy dictate what the outcomes are. Now it gets exciting.
I love the way you put it. It makes me think it made me think about intrinsic value and extrinsic value. And it's like if we had a society where we were taught to value intrinsic validation, and this would be like in a utopian world, because I agree, the things that we do out of fear is often for validation because of fear of not being accepted. Then we might play a role that's not authentic, people pleasing, and we might disguise it as love to excuse our behavior that comes from fear.
So the first thing in the physical world is don't be defensive. We have nothing to protect. Everybody spends their whole life protecting themselves because that's what the mind and ego do. And when you stop, you create all kinds of free time.
It's very powerful.
You'll never get there in your head. It isn't possible. But when you understand how it works, now you can look at a situation and say, well, how can I be of benefit to the situation, regardless of what it is? Okay? Regardless of what it is. How can I be of benefit? Rather than having our energy, maybe energy of fear and chaos in a situation because of fear of loss, because of whatever. And you just see that all the time. So I have, for anybody listening to this, I have a book that I wrote. It's called Clarity Has No Story. Clarity has no story, which is a very powerful saying in and of itself. It's a shaman's guide to mastering the law of attraction. And anybody listening can download a free copy of it by going to myfreebook.me, myfreebook.me. And you can get a copy of Clarity Has No Story as my gift to you. It's, the clarity, when you understand, I want to back up for 1 second. This is about the non-physical and the physical. When you start looking at it from the inner game and what's going to benefit you and put you in the right energetic place, you're either stepping towards your energetic power or you're stepping away from it. You're doing one or the other at all times, right? So, when you get to make that choice, even though it's scary, even though it's different, the beauty of it is you get instant gratification because it's energy. It happens instantly. So instead of reacting in a negative way, you don't say anything. Boom, peace and calm, And it actually, I have this client, this is a funny story. It's amazing, really, because it's changing their lives in such a profound way. The son works with the father, been working with him a couple years, and isn't getting paperwork done in the way that he should, and always has stories and things around it. And the son is in a coaching program with me. And I also coach his father individually. So I gave his son an assignment, and I said, when your dad comes in and asks about paperwork, if it's been processed and handled, if it hasn't, here's all you can say. I'm sorry, I haven't done it. I'll take care of that right now. So his dad comes in and asks for something. He says this. He says, it really felt scary, but I said it. He said there was a dead calm in there of silence and a vacancy of time that neither of them knew what to do with. And he got up and went and took care of it. His dad told me, he said, I was going to listen to another 10 or 15 minutes of blah, 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 right? His dad didn't know I'd given his son that assignment. He said it was shocking, absolutely shocking. And because we spend our whole day defending ourselves.
Oh, well, I love that story that you mentioned, because it's like things that we witness every single day, we take for granted because of how distracting life is nowadays, where we have like our phones going off here, noises there, music coming from this machine, bright lights here and there. And to remind ourselves to be present, to take responsibility. Because sometimes I could see that we, like, the being defensive is so ingrained in us as like citizens in America that like we defend ourselves not even knowing it. Like, I know a lot of people that don't even know how to say, sorry, I'll take care of that right now. That's all that needs to be said. Like,
it changes. I have to tell you a funny story. I said that to somebody about defensiveness once. I was talking to them. You know what their answer was to me? They said, well, I'm not defensive.
Yep. Blind spot. And
that's a true story. Yeah.
And the only way I learned that I was being defensive, like that I caught on to, is because like I wrestled throughout high school and college. So I learned from my coaches. And like with combat sports, you learn principles of social etiquette and like human nature, because it's all body language. You have to learn how to read people. And like, I'm very grateful for that advantage, because I see that a lot of people, like you say, with untapped potential in the beginning. It's like, I knew people who never did sports that don't know how to flex their bicep or don't know how to flex their quad. And I feel like with our untapped potential, because we're so distracted, it's like a similar phenomenon. Like, if we don't know how to flex that part of like sitting still, being silent, and actually like planning and investigating an outcome that we're fascinated with.
It's worse than that, Samantha. It's so much worse than that, because people just ignore the non-physical because they know nothing about it. And they live their whole life in the physical. And in the physical, the best you're going to get is lack of clarity, suffering, and work. That's the best you're going to get out of the physical.
I agree.
They just get, and you talk about metaphysics and other things, and they go, that's crazy. That's crazy stuff. Yet, it's all tied into energy. Everything in the universe is just energy. People go to church on Sunday and pray to energy. They pray to some God or some deity of some sort that they worship. but it's all in the non-physical, not in the physical. And they look at metaphysics, but this is what has created our universe. It's all scientifically proven. When you start investigating it, the evidence is overwhelming that the physical is, my physical life is a joke. You know, like I'm moving in directions, I have intentions, but I'm just waiting to see what the energy ignites, right? That's it, because I can't outthink the universe. So if I put the energy out there and it connects right, poof, there it is. There we are outside the 92%. Maybe I've gained another 1% potential. I don't know.
My boyfriend says this a lot. He says, man plans and God laughs.
Mm-hmm. You know, another reason to stay in the present moment. It's okay to have intentions for later. In the physical, we call them plans. But you have an idea, for the most part, kind of what you're doing. But the truth of the matter is, you're always in search of more clarity about what you're going to be doing later. You're always in search for clarity in that respect. If you just stay in the present moment, just let things appear, everything takes care of itself. It's so well orchestrated. So well orchestrated. That way, the definition of disappointment is when your expectation meets reality. It isn't going to come out the way you want it to.
Absolutely. And I love that you're talking about this. It's like so present with what I'm going on in like my personal matrix. Like with my, like I'm living on the truck with my boyfriend and our semi truck broke down. We've been like stuck for 2 weeks, and it was my birthday week. So like my birthday was on March 2nd. I was supposed to, go home for my birthday and all these unexpected events happened. But I tell you, like, I had no expectations. I never have like wants or birthday wishes that I put solid in there. Like, I'm just excited to celebrate life. I had the best birthday I think I've ever had. Like, we ended up landing in the best spots. Like, our truck broke down next to a sushi restaurant where it's all you can eat. My favorite food. Like, we broke down at a truck stop that had a casino, and we made friends with the bartender. She let us borrow her car. Like, things like we wouldn't imagine. We ended up at this motel, and we got to eat at a 5-star restaurant. Best meal I ever had in my whole life. All because I just like let the universe plan it for me. Like, instead of being like, oh, we have to work.
You have described it perfectly. And the more you allow yourself to participate moment by moment in life and get rid of the distractions, which are your emotional distractions and everything around you, all of the people, everything out there is a distraction to what's going on inside of you. So they're either distracting you or you're melding your energy in with what's going on. And the more everything you spoke about, you're going to remember because of how you felt. It was how this whole experience has made you feel. When COVID hit, this is probably the greatest example of how our lives are out of control. Okay? Everything shut down because of COVID. But yet in my world, nothing was different. Nothing. Oh, the physical was different. There weren't people out and around. But that doesn't affect me. Either way, whether there are or there aren't. I'm just living my life in energetic creation. So it actually created a greater opportunity, even a bigger void to create in, which allows one to even create better because there's less interruptions and distractions because everybody was home, But other than that, everybody, what are you going to do? The business people, oh, I'm pivoting. And they go, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go sit on the couch. There's nothing different happening here. Nothing, oh, there's this. It's like, life is out of control all the time. We just
Do you have kids, little cousins, nieces, and nephews? If so, I bet you're tired of the pain from stepping on Legos. And I bet you're fed up with the subpar cardboard jigsaw puzzles. We have a fantastic solution for you today. Wango Puzzles. These puzzles aren't just like any other ordinary jigsaw puzzle. They're an exceptional work of art, meticulously crafted from genuine wood. Breathtaking designs and distinct shapes. Wango Puzzles promise not only a delightful but stimulating experience, it'll keep you hooked. And the best part? All the pieces are guaranteed to be included, so you'll never have to worry about an incomplete puzzle again. Indulge your puzzle passion with Wango Puzzles, a true treat for your intellect and creativity. Say goodbye to flimsy cardboard and hello to premium wooden jigsaw puzzles. They're 100% wooden and they'll last forever. Each piece is hand-drawn, so no two pieces are the same, and you'll discover some fun, whimsical pieces as you work through it. They come in custom wooden box, which is a perfect gift for storage. With stunning designs and unique shapes, Wango puzzles are a cut above the rest. I love doing the snow globe puzzle myself. It was great to pull out a puzzle and have it done at night and have it on the table and not have it on the table for a week. What are you waiting for? Go to wangopuzzles.com and pick your puzzle today. And be sure to use the promo code Organic Matrix to get 10% off your order. This is the most fun you'll have with the puzzle, I guarantee. Or get your money back. Go to wangopuzzles.com and use the code Organic Matrix to get 10% off your order and get puzzling right now.
We just happen to have a physical lockdown. That's what's getting all of your attention.
Absolutely. And one thing that I noticed, like since I started interviewing professionals on my podcast, is that the most successful people take a public crisis or world crisis and they build a solution. And they become very wealthy because they're great at solving the problem. Like a crisis in a rich man's head is profit because there's problems to be solved. Like that's something that I learned speaking to people with like you, that like they don't let all of the propaganda stop their life. Like they find opportunity in crisis.
Well, that comes back to I was talking about before, whether you're holding your power or you're giving it away. When you step into the crisis and participate in it, you're giving your power to the crisis. When you acknowledge that there's a crisis, certainly I'm not certain that I can have any effect on the outcome of what this crisis is. But I do know I can find a solution for how I will experience it. I can make my choice. And this is where freedom comes. It's in free will and choice.
Absolutely.
And the beliefs you have.
If we were all to be our own heroes, then nobody need to be saved.
Mm-hmm. And we have that potential.
And on the note of potential, I'm so excited to hear about the 92% success formula. So can you enlighten us?
Well, you have to understand everything is part of the inner game. If we only use 8% of our potential, I don't know what percentage we use, but let's just say we've muscle tested it. I don't know if you're familiar with muscle testing, but we came up with, it came out at like 92.4% of our potential unused. So just say we use 8% of our potential. So one has to take a look at what's blocking that. If we're only using that much of our potential and it's 100%, it's available to us. What's stopping us from accessing it? The answer to that isn't in our physical world. Again, it's inside of us. It's identifying things that you know are blocking you from your potential. Let me give you an example. Someone, I have very low self-esteem. I lived with that vast majority of my life. I still have it. I don't act on it, but I have it, right? It's still there. It's still part of my thought processes. It still comes to me. I thank it, tell it I don't need it anymore, keep moving in the direction I'm going to go. But I didn't have that capacity before. And because I had low self-esteem, I would look at things as, the glass is half empty. There's not going to be enough. I'm not going to succeed. Judging myself, judgment, blame, shame, guilt. There's just a whole package that goes with that. All of that is a brick wall with a moat, with two more brick walls, barbed wire, razor wire, machine guns, and then my potential. That's what was blocking me. So as I remove some of it, I instantly have more access to my potential. Instantly. And it could be anything. It's the simplest way is, what do you do that doesn't make you feel good? What would be a different way you can do it that would feel better?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing it to begin with? Are you doing something out of obligation, or is this something you're choosing to do? Why are you in the situation you're in? You're in the situation you're in because of the weather, because of the type of work, and because of the circumstances that have occurred. And you've just going to look back on it and go, that was really cool. That was really cool. We had, what a great experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just totally the opposite of what one would expect in a winter where you're up in that area where they're getting all the snow, right? I mean, that's a perfect example of tapping into your potential, not living in the negative energy, and what appeared in front of you. It wasn't just one thing. It was one thing after the other, including the bartender loaning you her car, which is pretty funny. I mean, that's pretty amazing in and of itself.
It really is.
And you look at it with gratitude and go, oh, that's fun. And I can just keep creating that way. Yeah. Or I can block myself from it.
Oh, yeah. You just made me think that, this is where I get to pick what path we get based off who I speak to, like what neural pathway I'm going to reinforce. Am I going to brag about the hard times I had and how I conquered them? Or am I going to talk about how much fun I had and how the universe had my back? So the next time I do something with less certainty, I don't have to worry about it because I know I'm adaptable. So I just thought about that as you said that, and I wanted to share that, that inner dialogue.
Yeah. In fact, you said, am I going to talk about the hard times I had and how I conquered them? And that statement's not true. Mm-hmm. It should be something, am I going to talk about the hard times I had, how damn miserable it was, how I missed out on my birthday, and you're going to pile on all of your rationalizations and justifications. Then at the end, I came out the hero, finally got it all conquered, and we're off again back to normal life. Or over in the excitement of it. Mm-hmm. You see, when you, on either side of the equation with energy, that negative side, being the victim because you broke down and you've been 2 weeks. I mean, there's baggage that goes with it. It's these energies don't fly alone. They attract other energies. So when you start looking at that, you get into judgment, blame, shame, and guilt. Pointing your finger, this and that, how much it cost us, lack comes into it. I mean, just on and on and on. The same is true on the other side. When you have a positive attitude and you're in the present moment and you make the best of it with a loving energy for the benefit of all involved, and just let whatever happens, there's baggage that goes along with that too. But that baggage is your potential. You're tapping into that unseen energy that can make miracles occur.
And when I think back to love and fear, this stands out in this story as well, because the fear is
like, totally.
Yeah, I was so scared we were gonna freeze to death in the back of the bunk. Or coming from the love, like, oh, I knew that me and my little family and our truck, we can get through it. We'll get through it because we'll keep each other warm. Like, I love that. Like, it's the love and fear. Love it.
Yeah, totally. It's that simple. So, it really, and the work I do, I have coaching programs. I coach one-on-one. I've been doing it for 15 years with executive CEOs, business owners all around the world. I have a super conscious mastermind that meets a couple times a month. And I also have a group coaching program that meets a couple times a month. And the fascinating thing about these is when people come in, we don't know what's going to happen. What we're going to do is I show them how to clear the debris away. And we don't know what's going to show up. People say, what's it going to be like? It's like, I know what it's going to be like energetically. And I know it's impossible for anyone to even attempt to conceive of how it's going to feel like when they're going to start working with me, because they don't have the capacity. Because you're going to get opened up to an expanse and an energy that's beyond. It's just fantastic, right? It's just great. But the most important thing is, you know who you are in this energetic field, and you know how to move about it.
Hey there, health and wellness enthusiasts. Are you tired of sifting through countless supplement brands at their bold claims only to be disappointed by the quality or results? Your search ends here with Bulk Supplements. At bulksupplements.com, they're dedicated to providing you with the finest, most reliable nutritional supplements without the fluff or gimmicks. Their products are thoroughly tested and come in their purest form so that you can trust that you are getting the best. With over 500 supplements available in bulk, including vitamins, minerals, herbs, mushrooms, amino acids, proteins, you'll find exactly what you need to support your fitness journey, boost your immune system, or enhance your overall well-being. Why should you choose bulksupplements.com? Purity. They prioritize the highest quality ingredients without unnecessary additives. Affordability. Their bulk options make you get more value for your money. Convenience. Shop easily online and enjoy hassle-free shipping right to your doorstep. And variety. Explore their extensive selection to find the perfect supplements for your unique needs. Transform your health and wellness routine with the power of bulksupplements.com. Visit their website and use the promo code ORGANICMATRIX for a discount off your future purchases. Experience the difference that pure, high-quality supplements can make in your life. Remember, it's not about the supplement, it's about investing in a better you.
And you look at life that way, and then we just see what really shows up. It's really fascinating, and just wild, crazy things happen. And in the non-physical world, they can happen instantly. In the physical world, everything takes time and costs more. But in the non-physical world, boom, it can just hit as it for any of us anytime. And that's what's exciting.
Absolutely. If our Matrix members are interested in joining your mastermind or working with you on one-on-one coaching, how can they find you?
The easiest way to get a hold of me, Samantha, would be go to speaktobill.com. All one word, speaktobill.com. And you can get a 20-minute clarity session. And, the most important thing is, and I say this very seriously, is I need to see if people are really ready for what they can have. So not everyone is. And if you're not ready for it, I would ruin your life. I would ruin it because I'm going to tear all your stories apart. I can tell you that right now. Because you're living in your stories, we're going to write a new one. We're going to write a totally new story. I'm going to show you how to do it and how to do it fast. And you get to do it at your own pace, and you work with everything as you desire and as you like, because everybody's different. But I can tell you it goes so fast, it's crazy, because I have a way of introducing people to their own energy. And when they see that, their life changes like that. And then it's kind of off to the races, so to speak. So, and it's exciting. One of the things that's fascinating about my coaching business, I've been doing this 15 years. My average client, my individual clients, stay with me for over 5 years, which in coaching is unheard of. It's unheard of. But that's because we're working in expansion, right? And it's fun. And it also you can create anything you desire. So off we go. So yeah, if anybody has an interest, they can go to speaktobill.com, and there's a quick little application sheet there for a 20-minute call with me. And then I can see the sheet, see what's going on. We can have a quick conversation. If you really have an interest in living a life of extreme happiness, I'm the person to see. I can take you there so fast. It's beyond your ability to comprehend it, because you step into this space like Samantha just went through with the truck breaking down. It's heaven on earth. It's just like everything's good, everything flows, everything's great. There's so much to be grateful for, right, Samantha?
Yeah.
And that's the life that all of us should be living.
Like the number one word that pops up to my mind is like progressive. Because we're progressing, we're not inactive.
Yeah, I wouldn't use progressive, okay, because it's not. The energy of progressive is too heavy. It's expansive. Can you feel the difference?
Definitely.
Just say the word progressive and then say the word expansive and feel it.
Progressive? I could totally see that. Expansive is like the feeling you get is like air. Like
you can feel it. It just
yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask one more question. As a man of business, and you told me that you're an energetic empath, how do you take care of your empath abilities in business? And personally, I would go through a lot of compassion burnout. I have to talk to a lot of people one-on-one. How do you handle that for the long run?
Again, the problem is we are energetic beings having a physical experience. When you're allowing all of your being to be in the physical world, you're going to go through burnout. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. because you're not acknowledging the energetic side of your life. When you come at it the other way, and this is what I teach people to do, when you come at it energetically, you're in constant control of that energy. And yes, are there times, hey, like I'm an expert in this area, right? One of the leading people in the world in this area, without a doubt. But I still live in the physical. I still struggle. It's part of the physical experience. However, in the past, I would pick up that struggle like a baby bottle and just suck on it and go on down the road because I didn't know any better. Now I step aside from it. I excuse myself from it. I make sure that I'm energetically clean of it. That way, there's no misunderstandings. You know, this is why the book I'm giving everybody, Clarity Has No Story. It's why, because people don't understand how to be clear, and you need to understand clarity to keep your energy clean. Otherwise, you're going to be subjected to other people's energy. You know, and we are all energetic, and there's a whole aspect of that. Like there are people in your audience listening right now that hate to go to shopping malls because of how they feel when they're there. And the reason they feel lousy when they're at shopping malls is because they're taking on other people's energy. And I can show them how to protect themselves and not have that hat. We are just energy. Everything is just energy. Everything's a vibration. Everything's a vibration. You know, people, oh, metaphysics, I don't trust it. No, but you trust your cell phone. When you pick up your cell phone and you push some colored buttons on a glass, and there it is with nothing attached to it, and somebody in Australia picks it up on the other side. There's no string going from we don't have 2 Campbell soup cans here. Right? No. And oh, yeah, well, that's my cell phone. Yeah, because it's in the physical, but how does it work? It works in the non-physical. It works from a vibration. Your number has a certain these numbers have vibrations. That's how they communicate. It's the only way they can communicate. They can't communicate invisibly. They have to create a vibration. Each vibration is uniquely different. I mean, the universe is pretty phenomenal. It's billions of different combinations. So, you know, does that answer your question? I can get off on these little tangents.
I love it. Yeah, definitely. 100%. And I love that you can help people learn psychic defense. I love your perspective on clarity, to clean your energy. You're the first person that I heard this from, but it makes the most sense. Like, it makes more sense than a salt bath. Like having clarity, like knowing I'm at the mall because I need to get something and I can be here because it's public. And I don't need to worry about what anyone else thinks. Like, that's the clarity. I love that.
Yeah. 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 People do, you know, they do those salt baths to clear toxins. Okay. Well, give yourself an energetic salt bath. Forget the physical one. That's good, especially if you're doing a lot of transformation because you're going to be moving a lot of things and you need to clean the toxins out of your cells. That's good. But think of it energetically. What's that invisible story inside you that needs to be cleansed, that you need to give a salt bath to? Change that story. That story is defining how you live your life. Write a new story. Write it from the present moment.
Thank you so much.
By the way, everything I've spoken about, I've written a book on all the work that I do. It's called The 7 Levels of Truth. And it's available on Amazon, The 7 Levels of Truth by Bill Heinrich.
Oh, thank you so much. I love our conversation. I have 2 rapid fire questions for you, if you're ready for them.
Go.
What is the most irrational superstition you have?
Anything that I do that would be considered a superstition would actually have more to do with the fact that I'm I'm a certified feng shui professional. And in feng shui, you take certain shapes, colors, forms, sounds, and such to express your intention, right? So I'm always speaking to my intentions. Always speaking to my intentions at all times, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So it's, yeah.
I like that. And that is a really cool fun fact. Feng Shui is so cool.
Oh, I have a superstition for you. This could be a superstition. You know, it took me a little bit, but this could be one.
I'm ready for it.
You must be responsible for everything that comes into your life. Otherwise, you lose your power. You must be responsible for everything in your life. Otherwise, and so the superstition there is, if you're not, then you could be giving away your power and not realize it, right? So own everything. If you don't own it, something else owns you.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. What is the weirdest food combination you enjoy?
The weirdest food combination I enjoy. Gosh, I mean, I just eat pretty simply. So, well, as far as unique combinations, I can make a chicken from Costco do a lot of different things.
I like that.
I can prepare it a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Bill. It's an honor to have you on the Organic Matrix show. This conversation flowed so well. I didn't even have to use the questions that I planned.
Good. Well, thank you very much for having me on. And again, if anyone has any interest in the work that I do, go to speaktobill.com and you can schedule a 20-minute clarity session. But thank you again, Samantha. I really enjoyed being here.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Listeners can download a free copy of Bill's book, Clarity Has No Story. In the book, Bill explains how our tendency to get trapped in our stories and beliefs can block our clarity and create suffering and stress and overwhelm. He offers insights into how to use language to create more power, potential, and abundance in life. The links to Bill's website and his free book will be in the description below. All feedback is welcome, and it helps us serve our fellow Matrix members to stay up to date with our Matrix mentors and what we have in store for you. Bookmark our website and subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. It was great to have you with us on the Organic Matrix, and we'll be seeing you on the next download.